At this time, I call the Hampton County Council meeting for November 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. to order. First thing on the agenda is invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask that Councilman Williams, I would do the invocation, and Councilman Williams would do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone would please stand. Bow our heads. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you like we always say, thank you for all the things that you have bestowed upon us. And Heavenly Father, thank you for waking us up this morning on a beautiful day that you have created for us. And Heavenly Father, as we go before having this meeting this evening to go about the business of Hampton County and the citizens to provide the services that they so deserve, give us the wisdom to do all that is needed. In your Son Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can I let Mrs. Lohope and Bob put those chairs, 3 chairs out, and leave one for Algie?
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Lohope, can you assist me on something, sir? Can you get these first 3 chairs and put them in the aisle if you need more chairs, sir? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Lord.
Thank you. At this time, we're on item number 3, approval of the agenda. Item 3.1, Hampton County Council, November 4th, 2024 meeting agenda. What is the pleasure of council?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the agenda, Hampton County, November 4th.
Second.
A motion has been made, has been properly second. Is there any final discussion on this? If none, all those who are in approval of the Hampton County Council, November 4th, 2024 meeting agenda, show your approval by raising your right hand. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? We're now on item number 4, approval of minutes. These are the meeting minutes from October 21st, 2024 County Council meeting. I hope everyone had a chance to review and read over the minutes. I looked over it and I didn't see anything that stood out for any changes need to be made or corrections to be made. Do anyone have any corrections that they've seen need to be made at this time before we move on? If not, what is the approval of council?
Mr. Chair, a motion that we approve October 21st, 2024 meeting minutes.
A motion has been made, has been properly second. Any discussion? If none, all those who are in approval of the meeting minutes from the October 21st, 2024 County Council meeting, show your approval by raising your right hand. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? We're now on item number 5, the oath of office. This is for County Council, the newly elected County Council person, Mr. Dennis Thompson, Jr. So I asked our clerk to council if she would come forward, and also Mr. Dennis Thompson, Jr. come forward for the swearing in to be seated tonight on County Council. Is anyone also who want to assist to be with Mr. Thompson?
I, Dennis Thompson,
So, Mr. Thompson?
Now,
He's
Mr.
getting
Thompson?
his book. He's getting his
Oh, he's getting his briefcase, okay. Congratulations.
oh yeah.
We're now on item number 6, presentations. There are no presentations at this time. Item number 7, public hearings. We do not have any at this time. We're now on item 8, public comment. Are there any public comments?
Mr. Dennis, may I? You're tougher than you seem. Oh, it's gonna, it might not reach. I feel the flight.
Thank you, Council, for the opportunity to speak. I first want to congratulate Dennis Thompson on being elected to the County Council. Look forward to observing the entire council in future times. Some items I wanted to mention relate to the whole council. Firstly, there's the notion of trust. It is often easy to lose trust to someone or a group of individuals. Once lost, it is quite difficult to regain that trust. Unfortunately, speaking for myself, I have lost some trust in this council. I have tried to attend some of the council meetings, and those I could not attend, I made an effort to watch online. Recognizing the loss or misappropriation of the CPSD funds, it seemed logical to me that once it was identified that funds were not being spent as designated by people of the county, Council will urgently want to find out why. For quite some time, little or no attention seemed to be paid to the problem. This causes me to lose trust in Council. Secondly, realizing the dire financial situation of the county finds itself in, Council does not see the urgency of cutting back on spending for travel expenses and other expenses that may pertain only to the Council. That does not instill trust. Another item is that of transparency. This word is bandied about quite a bit, but perhaps it is because we as members of Hampton County are often in the dark about what is going on. I realize that sometimes legally it may be necessary to wait until an appropriate time to release information on a subject. But when possible, please inform the county. Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, is that all? Okay. The next item on the agenda is appointments. We have none at this time. Item 10, approval of items requiring council's action. We have none at this time. We're now on item number 11, resolutions and proclamations. We have an inducement resolution committing to negotiate a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes between Hampton County and Project Shara. Is someone from Southern Carolina Alliance representative could come forward and share with council this resolution proclamation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Council. I'm Ty Davenport with the Southern Carolina Alliance, and today we're talking about project, I believe it was recently renamed, it's formerly Project Fittings. I would imagine you were briefed about that as much as a year ago in executive session, but it's been renamed Project Kiera, I think.
Oh, Kiera, okay.
Kiera, yes.
Kiera.
We had discussion on the correct way to pronounce that.
Yeah, thank
earlier. And this is first reading by title only.
Okay,
And we'll,
okay. Anything else we need to know about it other than,
we're going to get into some of the details in executive session.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Okay. So you want us to, you need a vote on this, resolution proclamation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, okay.
And again, it's by title. Just
And,
title only.
how do you pronounce that project name?
Kiera.
Kiera,
Kiera.
Kiera, okay, Kiera. Okay, I know I'll mess it up. Okay. What is the pleasure of council?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve first reading by title only in fee in lieu of Project Kiara.
I second.
A motion has been made, has been properly second. Any further discussion? All those who are in approval of this resolution, proclamation, show your approval by raising your right hand. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Thank you very much. We're now on item number 12, ordinances. We have no third reading of an ordinance. We have no second reading of an ordinance. We're at 12.3. We have the first reading of an ordinance. This is the first reading by title only of an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes and incentive agreement by and between Hampton County, South Carolina, and a company currently known as Kiera, to provide for payment for a fee in lieu of taxes, authorizing certain infrastructure credits and other related matters. Can you come back up again?
So this is simply the, again, by title only, it's to vote to agree to negotiate with this company and move forward.
Okay,
Project Kiera.
okay. And any councilman have any questions want to ask at this time? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the pleasure of council?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve SEA to have the negotiating ability for Project Sierra.
A motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Has been properly second. Any discussion or final discussions on this? All those who are in approval of this first reading of an ordinance by title only, show your approval by raising your right hand. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? We're now on item number 13, council's briefing. 13.1, council briefing, the chairman's update. I have here, I think, I don't know if it's already been done, the 2025 holiday calendar. Has it been done yet? The 2025
No, sir,
holiday
it hasn't.
calendar.
It has not. No, sir.
It's not,
No,
okay.
sir.
This is something we need to have done by the end of the year, so they'll be posted on the website.
Okay. I have ready for next session.
Okay. I have one other briefing. I don't know if council is aware of, but the Lake Crusade groundbreaking ceremony, which was scheduled for Thursday, November the 7th, has been canceled. It has been canceled, so they will not, and I'm sure that at some point in time, they will have a rescheduled date. But I just want to let council know that the groundbreaking ceremony for Lake Crusade has been canceled for Thursday, November 7th. That's all the briefing that I have. We're now on 13.2, County Council Members Liaison Reports on Update. I will start with my right with Ms. Councilwoman Knox.
Yes, sir. I have a couple of questions for LeVar. LeVar, last meeting during my liaison time, I had asked for contracts and bids, which is in the minutes, and I have not received those. Could you give me a timeline for when I will be in receipt of those? By the end of tomorrow? Okay. I had some questions too. We've all been on an email chain in which another elected official has been requesting documentation. The documentation, to my knowledge, is not under executive session. Could you tell me why he has not been able to receive that? The sheriff. Why has the sheriff not received the documents that he has requested? As I recall, he was looking for a copy of the fleet management plan and the contract for the enterprise cars.
Well, I presented the fleet management plan to you guys about 3 weeks ago. I haven't gotten one response, including yourself, in regards to the fleet management plan. I was hoping that we could have a collegial conversation about the fleet management plan. And actually,
Did we not have one already? Or
no, ma'am.
Okay. I was under the impression
there's
that-
never been a fleet management plan in this
I was under
county.
the impression that the fleet management plan had been instituted already.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
It is under review, a collegial review, where I submitted to you guys 3 weeks ago, so we can all have a robust conversation. I think I've gotten 2 responses back, but I have not gotten your response back of the draft fleet management plan.
What about the enterprise contract? That should be subject to FOIA since it is already.
I can provide copies of
Okay.
the enterprise contract. As it relates to the details of the contract, I'm not sure why the sheriff needs to see the contract, because these are county vehicles. But if that's a request that council wants me to provide the enterprise contract to the
It's an
sheriff.
existing contract. It shouldn't be a matter of why he needs it. If any member of the public asks for an existing contract, it should be provided under FOIA.
Okay.
Thank you.
If that's a direction that council would like me to take in providing the contract, the enterprise contract to the sheriff, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, and while we're on the subject of FOIA, have any FOIA requests come in? And are they due to be responded to within the appropriate time frame?
We have had several FOIA requests to come in over the past few weeks, and they are on pace to be responded to. Yeah.
Okay. I know that there has been some issues even with elected officials receiving information that is requested in a timely manner. Myself, 2 former members of this council, Representative Hager and the sheriff, have all requested information, and I would like to see, and I think it's absolutely imperative that we see an impetus put on prompt response to those requests. We cannot operate if we do not have all of the information.
Ms. Knox, we have been operating on bare bones staff for quite a while. We've been out without a clerk to council for about 2 months, I think. So there have been some holes and gaps in information, but we're doing our due diligence to respond to FOIA requests as they come. If you could present information and facts that I have not responded to a FOIA request, I'm happy to take that up with council. But I'm not aware of us neglecting to respond to FOIA requests in a
What
timely
about mine
manner.
that was submitted previous to my election or Representative Hager's?
Oh, I'm very clear. I responded to your request. You did not want to pay the fee associated with the other research that will go into providing that information.
Actually, that was sent via my county email, so there should not have been a fee associated with that.
Okay. I'm happy to look back over my emails and provide that context to you, but these types of conversations, I think, are contradictory to what we're trying to do and move the county forward. This administration has been and will continue to be transparent in all it does.
I would email you, but I don't.
And can I say one other thing?
Go ahead.
I have emailed you 3 times to ask for a sit-down, face-to-face.
You have emailed me once,
Okay,
and I responded through the deputy.
okay. All right, well, I look forward to sitting down and chatting with you about how we move the county forward and not have combative conversations in relation to these types of things.
I think it's important to have these conversations in front of the public. Thank you.
Any other comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Councilman Thompson, any briefing you want to give at this time?
I do not have any comments at this time. I'm just coming aboard, so I want to make sure I'm well abreast of what's going on in the county, so I can have a good underlayment before I can start fielding questions or answering questions. And but I do plan to be very active in getting with the administrator on several issues that citizens as well as myself have. I do want to say I'm looking forward to working with council, and I'm looking forward to serving all the citizens of this county. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Williams?
I have none.
Okay. Councilman Jinks?
Yes, Chairman, as I requested a correction in the past agendas on proper decorum, when there was a mistake made in the minutes by calling people a person with authority and a position by their first name is not proper decorum. I'm requesting that we show each other respect by either calling us by title or last name.
Such noted. Any other comments? Councilman Jinks?
No, sir.
Okay. We're now on the item number 13.3, County Attorney's update.
Mr. Chairman, Council, I don't have anything that needs exigent action.
Thank you, Attorney Solomons. We're now on item number 13.4, Clerk's update.
I don't have a mic, but can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted council to know that I have placed an ad for the vacancies for the boards and commissions. If you'll see, they are in your agenda packets. But I just wanted to let you know that we do have an ad running for the next 4 Thursdays in the Hampton County Guardian.
Thank you. Hopefully at some point in time we'll get all these boards and committees filled. Any other update? Okay, thank you. We're now on item number 14, Administrator's Report. Item 14.1, Finance Report. I turn it over to our County Administrator, Mr. LeVar Humans.
Council, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Thompson, welcome.
Thank you.
My grandfather always said, it's not what people call you, it's what you answer to. So
That's
let's
correct,
just
sir.
keep that in mind.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go through this real quick. Just give you a brief update about the annual audit. We have already started the annual audit. We're in the process of moving forward with that. We are waiting on information coming in from various departments, but Malden and Jenkins will be on site the weekend of November 11th and November 18th. And so what that does is that potentially puts us in a space where we may have the audit done on time, the first time in about 17 years. First quarter budget review, something that's never been done in the county. My limited team has sat with each department head to talk and review their budgets. We've completed that. We're going through the findings. I'm going to present those findings to you guys. This goes back to the audit findings that we've been neglecting for years. So what this means is that we're talking about how we're spending, how monies are moved through the county, inter-fund transfers, addressing under-budget expenses, forward planning, but we will be prepared to walk through that detail next council session. Yep. The forensic audit is still happening, although it's been quiet. We are still working through the second round of inquiries from Edie Bailey. What we've had to do is contact original sourcing documents, so they've had to mail that stuff to us. So it's taken a little while to get this second round of information over to them, but the forensic audit continues to move forward, and we're moving to get that done. I just want to continue to show you that timeline so you can have some context of where we're at and what we're doing and what we're working on. The CPTS audit, that's still moving. We're having conversations with financial advisors on how we pay this money back. When a solid plan is ready to present to you guys, I will bring that plan before you in executive session so we can talk through it, the options to paying those funds back. But that is a heavy discussion that we have, or we're having on a weekly basis here in the county. Vehicles. I'm glad you guys brought that up. Just kind of give you some context about the vehicles. We drafted a budget to deliver 5 vehicles, focusing on the sheriff first. What we did was able to figure out how we can deliver 10 vehicles. So we delivered 10 vehicles. Those vehicles were delivered to the county on October 14th. The sheriff signed for those vehicles on October 14th and then turned those keys back over to my fleet management team. The sheriff is currently in possession of 2 F-150s, 7 Tahoes remain undelivered to the sheriff, but they are parked on the property where my fleet team is, and one of those vehicles will be available to the coroner. So total, the sheriff has 2 F-150s and Chevy Tahoes. I just want to make sure we are clear on what those cars here for. They're here for the sheriff. They were delivered to the sheriff. I provided emails to you guys in regards to communication from day one about these vehicles coming to the county. You guys told me to find vehicles. This administration found vehicles. And you tell me what you want me to do with those vehicles, and I'll do it. But as of today, my desire is to provide one of those vehicles to the coroner, leaving the sheriff with 7 new Tahoes and 2 F-150s. In additional context to that, in terms of the SRO, I inherited an issue where there was an SRO vehicle totaled in 2022. You see a letter that I provided to you this evening that has had legal sufficiency from outside counsel. And so the county's on the hook to purchase the sheriff a vehicle associated with that totaled SRO vehicle that happened in 2022, $36,000, okay? So what our options are and what that letter says is that, hey, sheriff, you can purchase another vehicle. The funds are available. You just give us the invoice, but it has to be an equivalent year, make, model, or similar miles. That $36,000 includes the upfittings to the vehicle. So that's additional vehicles. And just a quick update, the sheriff is doing some great work. He has gotten a grant of $260,000 where he has an additional 4 vehicles that he'll be having delivered to the county. So the sheriff's been busy. He has tons of progress around vehicles, and I just wanted to report that out to you guys. And I'll stop there and see if you have any questions.
Question.
Any questions from council?
Yes, I do, sir. You said that you asked us what do we want to do with the cars?
If something has changed, you gave me a direction to deliver vehicles to the county and deliver them to the sheriff. There was communication to my office that those vehicles, they didn't want them because there was a lease, a purchase, there was confusion. My job is to deliver the vehicles to the sheriff, and that's all I know to do. All that contract and them reviewing of the contract, I'm out of context with that. But if they want to get in the weeds of reviewing the contract, which is the county's contract and county's responsibility to purchase and maintain the payment of those vehicles, that's up to you as well. So my goal is to deliver the sheriff the vehicle so we can put this to bed and move forward, because it has been a distraction for myself and the county. Now, if something has changed, I would ask you guys to let me know.
This is where I'm confused. I mean, the cars were approved to be delivered. I guess that's a question I have to ask the sheriff. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Listen, all this is new to me. First of all, let's get the record straight. When those vehicles were delivered to my office, I had no clue that those vehicles were purchased and were going to be delivered to our office on the day they came. I never signed for any vehicles. Let's get that point straight right now. When I had the deputy there, I was on my way to Charleston for a press conference. I had a deputy there to sign for the vehicles. The county maintenance guy, John Wooten, came up from the female and snatched the paperwork out of her hand and the keys. I called the captain. He was up here meeting with Ms. Alice. I said, Captain, please get to the office and find out what's going on. He gets down there. That's when we realized that the vehicles were there. John told the captain that these vehicles belong to the county and they were going to be loaned out to the sheriff's office. Well, you all know if I don't have complete control over those vehicles, I cannot put blue lights in a loaner vehicle. Okay? So that was one error. The second error was I received an email from our county administrator, Mr. LeVar Yeomans, 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday, telling me that he needed me to email him by that Friday, accepting these vehicles. Under the conditions in the letter was registration, which I didn't have any problem with that. They are county vehicles, they got to be registered. But the one thing that I was concerned about in that letter was assignment of those vehicles. No county council or no administrator has the right to tell the sheriff who to give that vehicle to, what goes in that vehicle. I do believe at some point you all are going above your duties. And since then, because there's no communication between the county administrator here and the sheriff's office, it's always a third party. I have went out and I've sought an attorney, and I had to hire an attorney to fight for the sheriff's office. If you all took that money out of my budget to buy those vehicles, then why couldn't those vehicles be delivered to that sheriff's office with the sheriff's signature on it? Those cars are sitting down at that office while these citizens of Hampton County is hurting. We got vehicles breaking out every single day. We got new vehicles at the shop. It's going to take them 3 to 4 months to have those vehicles equipped with the right equipment in those vehicles. We are wasting time because y'all failed to communicate with the sheriff's office. I am not putting blue lights in there until I have complete control of those vehicles. As far as the 4 vehicles that the state funded me, those vehicles have not even been seeked out yet. There's a process we have to go through. We have to, first of all, go out and we have to find an invoice, send that invoice to DPS. They, in return, send it back to us and say, well, Sheriff, this vehicle match what the school needs. The school vehicle from a deputy vehicle is totally different.
So, Sir, I have a question right quick. What do you mean by complete control use of the vehicle?
Well,
explain
first of
that to
all,
me in detail.
Well, listen, since I've been here, I've been in this county since 1997. I've never seen where a sheriff that I worked for didn't have the option of putting whatever he wanted to put in that vehicle or putting markers on it. I've never seen where a county administrator or county government can tell the sheriff who to drive that vehicle.
Well, I was always under the impression that you all had complete control of that. I never known.
What do you mean? Who gave you an assignment? Who was signing the vehicles to who?
Well, that's the question you're going to have to ask Mr. LeVar, the county administrator, because this is the letter that I got. In that letter, it said for registration and assignment. That's why I didn't sign. I'm not signing for nothing like that.
Registration and assignment. Can you explain it to me, Administrator?
It's called politics for some particular reason. You see the email that you have?
Yeah.
The sheriff has been engaged since day one about these vehicles.
I asked that question when we discussed this on getting the vehicle.
Since day one.
Make sure he was involved.
And you can see where the enterprise representative says, hey, these vehicles are coming October ... It is your responsibility to upfit those vehicles. I heard through the grapevine that there was an interaction between Sheriff's Department and my staff about keys. That was, I don't know. And I was under the impression that we were all good and that we were all clear about what was going to happen when the cars were delivered. Now, a few weeks ago, Enterprise came in to help us look at all 181 vehicles that we have in the county to see which ones we can take off the books. And I met with every department head that primarily had vehicles in their department, and we talked through how do we take some of these things off the books. In that meeting with the sheriff, it was the first I heard from him that he was not clear on the delivery of the vehicles. That next day, I drafted a letter saying, hey, let me know what you're going to do. Because I thought we were all on the same page, but for some particular reason, I'm in a different book. In terms of precedents, vehicles have never been delivered by a county administrator in this county. Never. Not one county administrator. Sheriff departments have done that through their different funds.
So you say that never in the history of Hampton County, the administrative body purchased and delivered cars to the sheriff's office. A sheriff's office always had to fend for themselves.
Not so, you show me, and I'm happy to read it, but I haven't seen it. I have been working hard to get the sheriff what he wants and what he needs, and I'm not sure where the break in communication is or the lack of information, but still today I tell you, Sheriff, there are 7 vehicles waiting for you to pick up tomorrow. Okay? I just want to be clear. Those are your vehicles. I ain't got nothing to do with them vehicles. You upfit them. All we want to do is pay the bill. That's it.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Sheriff. Go ahead.
Now, I'm going to share some light on this. First of all, let's all be honest here. I'm not going to stand before you and lie about anything because I owe it to the citizens of Hampton County. This thing about Sheriff Russell has been in the plan and in the making of these vehicles coming to Hampton County. If you all remember, I asked you all for 15 cars.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Well, I got a call from the county administrator asking me could I meet with him and Chris over fleet management for the enterprise. Myself and the captain came up here and we sat in that same room in there. I had a list of 15 vehicles that we agreed to. Well, when I got in that meeting, I noticed that Chris' list was shorter than mine, and I leaned over and I said, Chris, I said, why don't you have the documents I have? He said, well, Sheriff, he said, I only have 10 vehicles. I said, but that's not correct.
Hold that thought.
Listen, let me finish. Let me finish. So I looked over to the county administrator, Mr. LeVar, and I asked him, I said, sir, I said, can you tell me why these numbers change? He looked at me and he told me, Sheriff, you can either take this or you can leave it. That is not respect. And I asked Chris then, I said, sir, if you don't mind, please step out of the room because listen, I didn't want him going back to wherever he's from and make it seem like Hampton County do not know how to communicate with one another. And I immediately told LeVar then, Mr. County Administrator, I said, sir, look here, when I walked in here, I greeted you with respect, and I expect to be respected as well. Now, if I was in that conversation, I would have known that someone changed the numbers from 15 to 10.
That's my question. Who agreed on 15? Who had the agreement to purchase 15 cars?
Listen, I submitted to you all, and you all agreed when y'all took that $288,000 out of my budget. I stood right here before you all. You all said that y'all was going to take the money out of my budget that we asked for and purchase me cars. No one never came to me and said, Sheriff, we're going to decrease this number to 10.
Hold a thought. Hold a thought. That still doesn't tell me who agreed to the number of cars.
I don't know. You have to ask yourself that and the council here.
So-
Because
so-
I didn't agree to it.
No. You saying that you had an agreement for 15 cars?
Yes, sir, we did.
Who?
I submitted the agreement before you all here.
We never agreed on 15 cars. We never agreed on a number at that time.
Well, maybe that's the breakdown in communication.
Exactly.
But at some point, if you didn't agree to the 15, don't you think it would have been better to say, hey, Sheriff, this is what we're going to do with the 10?
Do you remember us basically guaranteeing 5 and then 5 more in 6 months?
No, you guaranteed 10 and then 5 more in 6 months.
Okay. You would deliver 10.
Yes, sir. Well, apparently not now, because now I'm getting different communication now. I didn't realize one of the vehicles was for the Hampton County Coroner.
Well, sir, the vehicles were there for 2 weeks.
Those vehicles sat there for 2 weeks, and those vehicles could have been in Charleston or in Savannah getting outfitted.
Why weren't they?
That is a good question. Because first of all, I never signed for it. Second of all, once again, and you, Mr. Councilmember, you should know this. You cannot put blue lights in a vehicle that is considered a loaner car. We had this discussion with the county administrator.
I clearly hear you and I clearly understand that. But if Mr. Algie verbally tell you he's loaning you something versus giving you in writing you are loaning something, it's two different things. You were verbally told
No,
those
sir.
were
That
loaner
is-
cars by a maintenance director.
By the maintenance director that is directed by you all and the county administrator.
At that point, what did you do?
I didn't sign for no vehicles.
Did you call the administrator?
Listen, I sent him an email. And then not only that, we sat at the table up here and met with fleet manager.
There's clearly a big breakdown in communication here.
We don't communicate at all.
Why?
I have no idea. Don't you think if we communicated in this county, why would the sheriff have to go out and seek and hire a county attorney to represent the sheriff's office? Because I feel like we are being railroaded every single day. Why are these cars sitting at the maintenance shop down there?
Sheriff, you asked me a question. Let me clarify. I said this many times before I sat in. I'm pro-police. I sit just where you are for 8.5 years.
Well, then you should understand.
And I know what we suffered for when I was a deputy. Pro-police. When I became a procurement manager, where I sit now, it's 2 different lights. So me sitting at that sheriff's office wanting 5 flashlights and telling my counsel that, hey, I need 5 flashlights, and that counsel talks back to me and tell me, we can't afford 5 flashlights. We'll get you 3. That's something I had to accept. The big breakdown, I think you 2 gentlemen, as the administrator for 18,600 people and the sheriff for 18,600 people.
I communicate, sir.
Sir?
I communicate.
It needs to be better communication between you
We
two
communicate.
to serve these people.
We do. And to be honest with you, if you don't mind, Captain, Chief, step up here, because he's the one that I assigned to work with fleet manager. Let him tell you about the communication barrier.
Good evening. Just to go back and clarify, the vehicles came to the sheriff's office.
Just so you can reference
Lieutenant
what we're
Orr,
talking
who was
about.
there at the time, was signing for the vehicle when the maintenance director or the fleet management director, or whatever position he has, came up and told her that he have to have the vehicles, that they were not to be delivered to the sheriff's office until they go to the maintenance shop. She then scratched her name off the document. He took the keys from her, and he took the vehicles. By the time I got there, he brought us a key for each one of the Fords. So I asked him, where were the other keys? He said, they're in the shop. He said, we're gonna keep those because the vehicles belong to the county and they are on loan to the sheriff's office. So I instructed him, okay, here are the 2 keys back. We can't take a loan vehicle. We have to have a sheriff's office vehicle, and I'll get with the sheriff when he comes in. And when that happened, he took the keys back and he went back to the shop. And those vehicles have been sitting there since then. I know we got this new fleet, whatever it's called, fleet management plan where all the vehicles go into this pool. The only thing I'm asking, someone tell us what the guidelines are. What are the guidelines for the vehicles? Because for the sheriff to just sign something in the dark, he may be signing for a vehicle that he cannot make a law enforcement vehicle. But someone should be able to tell us. When it comes to the 15 vehicles, we came in and we made a proposal.
Yes?
We made a proposal, and we've been talking about vehicles since last year, or since the sheriff been in office. We made several presentations to the county council on the need for vehicles. We proposed 15 vehicles. We had what the lease payment was going to be. And when we did our budget, when we sent our information in for the budget, making the assumption that those vehicles was going to be in the last year budget, that we were going to get those vehicles last year before the budget started, but we didn't. It drug out past the time for us to get a budget. But in our budget proposal, it was the exact payment that it would have been to lease those vehicles each year. 15 vehicles is what we had planned on, and that's all we had been talking about until we got into this meeting over here. And we found out it was reduced to 10. And even in that meeting, Mr. Yeoman said, well, we're gonna do 10, and then we're gonna try to get the other 5 later on. And so I looked and said, so we're gonna have a chance to get those other 5 vehicles? He said, yes. We haven't wavered on 15 vehicles. We haven't. We didn't find out until, and you all are talking about 5. I'm totally lost on the 5. But we were talking about 10 over here, and that was the first time we heard about it.
I may be incorrect on 5.
I'm just talking about how this process have gone up to this point.
Me looking back and see some miscommunication, is it fair for me to say, when you guys felt like the 15 vehicles were agreed upon, we had a different administrator here?
No, sir.
Yes?
No, sir.
No?
If you ask me, and the sheriff is here, he can speak for the sheriff. But it was really my understanding that the 15 vehicles was going to occur before the end of the budget year. Those are the conversation we were having. But then we got caught up with it being drug out so long that we could not get those vehicles before the budget year ended.
What is very important in this part of the conversation is what administrator did we have when you felt like it was agreed upon that you were getting 15 cars?
This county administrator here.
This county administrator?
Yes, sir.
Can you enlighten me on that?
Let me, before you address that, let me just say a couple of things here. Let's talk about communication.
Yes, sir.
Council has in place liaisons. You all have a law enforcement committee, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who are your liaison on council? You are. And who else?
I'm not sure who.
I'm not sure, but we met with you.
Councilman Williams. We are the 2 liaisons that you ask us whenever you all have your law enforcement committee
Yes, sir.
to sit in and share with us the issues that you're having.
Yes, sir.
And then we in turn take that back to council and share with council what your concerns are or whatever you have.
Yes, sir.
You all have not come to us
Yes, sir.
and asked us to come to your meetings
Mr. Chairman.
to discuss this particular matter here.
Mr. Chairman, you sat with me in my office, and if you recall, I called you and you came.
Yeah,
out
I
there.
sat with
Yes,
you,
sir.
but we were at the
And-
beginning of this here,
and
and we had not done anything in detail.
No, when we in the communication part of getting vehicles, and if you recalled, I remember giving you a document that was provided to me from the state stating that it is county government responsibilities to provide the sheriff with vehicles. And I also give you a copy of the lawsuit that one of the sheriff's office won because of the same issues that we're facing here. No, sir, you were by yourself.
It's done. Give me the date, place, time, and location,
I tell you what, if you give me a minute, let me go through my phone. I have
because
the
I
phone
don't
there.
recall.
You were there. Because
I don't recall.
you walked
I don't
out of my
recall.
office and I give you the document, and we talked about the lawsuit that the agency won because you all failed to provide the sheriff's office with what he needs.
Was the county administrator on board then?
He was the county administrator at that time. Because you was the one that told me that you were our contact and our connection for the sheriff's office.
Right.
So we called you and you said in
And
my
you gave me a
office-
document.
Yes,
that,
sir.
County administrator, Yuma, did I give you any document pertaining to what the sheriff is saying?
Not that I recall, sir.
Because I would not have kept a document like that to myself. I would have shared that with not only the county administrator, but the rest of council, because that's the purpose of a liaison.
Mr. Chairman, I promise you, and I'm not standing before here trying to make up
No,
an excuse.
no, I'm not saying.
I assure you, I'll put that on everything that I
let me
love in
just
this
say this
country.
here. Let me just say this here.
And I give you those documents.
Apparently, both of us is having a lapse of memory of something.
No, sir, I'm
Okay.
not, because I remember that.
Well, right now, from what I know, something of that importance, I would have shared it with council as well with the county administrator. I would not have kept that to myself. But the point that I want to make is, we do have a process. We do have something in process called liaison, where your law enforcement committee, normally if you have something that you want council to really know of, you have 2 liaison people that you can share information with. And as far as I know of, other than, I think one time we met, the last time you and I met with them, do you recall Councilman Williams? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it went to this particular detail, but we haven't had any, have been asked to meet with your law enforcement committee in a good while, with all this is going on.
May I ask a question
Yes,
very
ma'am.
quickly?
If I may.
No, let me finish. But I do know that you have been in communication with one of our council persons who is not a liaison.
Well, who's that?
Well, I'm not going to, I'll give the name, but from some past communication that I have read, it appears this council person has been having information about what you all are doing without having to use your liaison.
Mr. Chairman, let's get one thing straight. With all due respect, I respect you.
Sure, I respect
But
you
one
also.
thing, now, if I tell you I did it, I will stand on this ground and tell you I did it.
I understand.
I do not have communication with any of you all in here. Every email that I've sent out, I CC'd every one of you in that email.
Well, all I'm saying is, when you have a law enforcement committee, okay, that law
And I met
enforcement
with you.
committee, okay, and if you met with me, most likely I would have asked Councilman Williams, but apparently he wasn't there when we had that initial meeting. But the last meeting we had, he was with me, with the 2 of us.
Yes, sir.
Do you
did.
recall?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the 2 of us
It wasn't too long after they had paved the grounds, right?
had what now?
Paved the grounds at the sheriff's office.
That's right, exactly, that's right. So
This was recent than that. And Mr. Chairman, I met with you because you made it clear to me after a county council meeting, myself and the captain was there, and you were like, you do know that I am the person that you need to talk to if you have any issues. And I said, yes, sir. And I said, I will come to you. As a matter of fact, we'll set up a meeting with you. You came to my office and you asked us about our needs.
okay.
Number one, I told you about the building that we were housed in.
Yep,
Okay? We
do
talked
recall
about the staffing issues.
Okay,
We
so,
talked about the restriction on
Yeah.
the budget,
so.
and we talked about
Okay,
vehicles.
so with that being said, which was very broad, nothing in detail, I brought it back to council, I'm sure, and shared it with council, you know, because that's the purpose of the liaison, is to, when they meet with the committee of any sort, that we all are assigned different committees and boards to serve on, that we listen, get that information. We do not interject our thoughts or ideas as to how you go about doing it. We listen to it, we bring it back to council, and share it with council that we did have a meeting with this particular committee or whatever. And then we go from there with council. So that's how it's done.
Mr. Chair, I understand what you're saying about the representative, but we came to you all as a council, and we expressed
Yes, okay,
the
well,
urgency.
okay, yeah.
Please,
Well,
sir,
well,
please.
well,
I didn't cut you off,
no,
sir,
well,
please.
no, because we've been on this here for quite some time.
The
and,
issue is,
oh, no,
the issue,
I have the floor. I'm the chair. Okay? This is not your meeting. This is council meeting. Okay? Let's get that straight now. Okay? I'm not at the sheriff's office. I'm not at the sheriff's office where you have all authority of what's in that building. Okay? I just want to just say that, not in a nasty way. Okay? Not in a nasty way, but we do have a way of doing things in a proper manner. Now, all I want to say is that apparently there has been a miscommunication that has been going on for quite some time. What I'm going to ask here now is that the sheriff and the administrator, you get together again and you work this thing out. You work this thing out. And then we'll come back and at some point in time have a special call meeting or whatever and see where we're at. Because we'll be here all night talking about the same thing and getting nowhere. I think each party has already expressed where they're at with what was said, what was not said, who said it, who didn't say it. Okay? So what I'm saying here now is I'm asking Sheriff Russell if you would get with County Administrator Humans and figure out how we can get this thing here done to where you can get your vehicles and use them the way that they're supposed to be used. That's what I'm asking. Can y'all do that?
yes, sir.
Can you do it? Can you do it, Sheriff?
Sir, I never had no issue with communication.
Okay, so it's my understanding in this public forum, we have it right now, that you and the county administrator is going to get together and iron this here out.
No problems at all.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Chair, I need to say something, nothing else about the card, but I need to say something in this segment for the record. I know you both understand we have 19,000 people that we steward their well-being, their finances, their everything. This Mr. Humans, Mr. Russell, cannot ever happen again. This cannot happen again. Fix it. That's all I ask.
All I ask for you all to do is to be fair and respect my position as the sheriff of this county.
And
That's all
I
I ask.
have always done
Always
that.
do.
And,
Any
and
elected
don't,
official
and don't
also.
assume because
And even
of
the
one
public.
person go to someone and say something that the sheriff has a direct connect with that person. Don't
Okay.
assume that.
Okay. I think enough has been said, and I appreciate, Sheriff, your comments that you have made. I know that we didn't ask for you to be at the podium or whatever, but I appreciate that, and also from our county administrator for sharing with us. Anything else that you want to share with us at this time, Mr. Humans?
Any questions?
No, sir.
I think we've any question from council? Any of y'all have any questions?
I think we're good.
Okay. I think everybody good. Okay. All right. We're now on Item number 15, executive session. We have 3 items that we're going to be discussing in executive session, the personnel matter, which is 15.1, 15.2, and according to the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act, economic development project that are exempt from revealing the names of involved parties until a public hearing. And then we have 15.3, in accordance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Economic Development Project, are exempt from revealing the names of involved parties until public hearing. And like this is what project Salinas, okay, 11. So at this time, what is the pleasure of council?
I move that we go to executive session.
Second.
Motion has been made, has been properly second. Any further discussions on this? All those who approve that we go into executive session, show it by raising your right hand. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? We're now going into executive session. Give everyone about 5 minutes before we go into